dedicated to the Western New York music scene. Presented by the Music Exchange in Hamburg. Get ready for a great hour of interviews, music, and tips from Western New York's leading musicians, with many other very special guests from around the country. And now, here's your host, Rich Rogenmoser.
Hi, folks. Welcome down to Heard It on the Axe, the East Coast premier music talk show. My name is Rich Rogenmoser. As always, my sidekick, the doctor, with me.
Your sidekick, the Robin to your Batman, the Keith to your Mick, the Grimace to your Ronald McDonald.
The house guest that won't leave.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Exactly.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good. Another painful Bills season's underway.
Yeah, it's started off to a rough start.
I realize we're not sports talk, but
let's just... we can dabble. Both my teams are pretty bad. I'm also a Lions fan, so
yeah.
I have no luck with football teams.
Luckily, the level of talent in Buffalo musically far outweighs the level of talent in Buffalo in sports. That's the way I feel.
That's very true. And one example of all the talent in Buffalo, last night I went to see the mighty Mick Hayes, a friend of the show, down at Route 5 in Hamburg. He played with legend Gary Malaber.
Gary Malaber, yeah. Jimmy Anger was with him, too.
Yeah, they played tunes from some of the albums that Gary Malaber's played on, like Van Morrison, Springsteen, Steve Miller Band, so that was great.
Yeah, packed house, I bet?
Oh, packed.
Yeah,
I had to park across the street.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for Mick, too. Mick is a good friend of the show, and Mick is an amazing talent. Really on all levels. He's kind of dubbed as a blues player here in Buffalo, but I think that he could really dabble in anything he really wanted to.
And he does. When you used to do acoustic gigs with him, he goes from country to blues. Yeah. He does everything.
If you have a chance, if you haven't yet, go to MickHayesBand.com and check out Mick. You can buy his stuff there and check him out locally. He's a road warrior. He's playing all the time.
Yeah.
Playing with the Reinhardts mainly, and I think this thing that he's doing over at Route 5 is going to be a regular thing. He's going to bring in some national folks and perform over.
Yeah,
Route
that
5.
should turn out to be a pretty cool gig every week.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if it's going to be every week, but I think monthly, something like that. They're going to do this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. What else did you have going on, Josh? Anything
a lot of stuff going on.
I know one thing you're excited about.
What?
The winter tour for Dave Matthews.
I knew this
kicks
was
off
coming.
in Buffalo.
Yes, it kicks off in Buffalo. A couple tour dates that I'll be hitting. But yeah, it starts out in Buffalo. I actually got to. I don't know if you caught it, but Dave Matthews opened the NFL season
for the New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints, so that was cool too. Watch that, but yeah, very pumped.
He's taking a recording down there. Is he?
He recorded they recorded their last album down there.
But didn't he say he wanted to continue to record down there?
Yeah, they love it down there.
Yeah, there's such a and I've been there. There's such a vibe, a musical vibe there. It's just, it permeates the buildings.
One of the things that they did when they played that show before the game was they brought out a bunch of New Orleans artists on stage with them, and they just had a huge, thing going on. So that's cool that they're recognizing New Orleans for the music that's there, and that's one of the things that we talk about on the show a lot, because I know you're a big fan of New Orleans. Big Al Carson, who's a friend of the show, is down there. So that's a great musical city.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because the city of New Orleans recognizes the talent that they have in their own city. There's a real sense of community, and it's built around their love of music and their love of their local artists. And I think all cities, I feel that Buffalo has an amazing amount of talent. I think a lot of talent that's in other cities like New Orleans and Nashville and L.A., Gary Malaber is a perfect example, are transplanted people that came from Buffalo at one time or another. Not that Buffalo is the only city that has talent, but there's a lot of cities like Buffalo, and I think if folks listened a little closer to the local artists that were playing right near them, clubs near them, they'd be really surprised to see the level of talent that you get to see here in Buffalo, and maybe we could create a vibe like there is in New Orleans.
And that's really what this whole show is about, is getting people to realize what's around them and what's going on in the community with music-wise and how much talent is actually out there.
Absolutely, and we're